Hi, it's Splinterverse. Welcome to another episode of D&D New Releases, where we offer first impressions of new third-party products for Dungeons & Dragons. We cover up to 20 titles from Dungeon Masters Guild and up to 20 more from DriveThruRPG each week. The titles are presented in alphabetical order by site, and all of them are linked in the video description. Purchasing the books using those links helps the channel, but you can also support us by purchasing one of our best-selling books. We've got lineages, suitable for any setting, as well as optional lineage rules in our Van Richten's Librum of Lineages. With our Potions Unlocked book, we have over 100 pages of material to take your potions to the next level in your game. Our Feywild Companion offers 150 pages of Feywild fun for players and DMs. Also, our book Fizban's Vault of Draconic Secrets contains over 50 pages of dragon-themed player options, including a subclass for each class and much more. Please support the channel by purchasing our books using the links in the video description. This week's episode focuses on titles released between November 12th and the 18th of 2021. We've got all kinds of 5th edition content, some OSR, and even more BORG in this episode. Everything from items to monsters to modules, it's in here, so stay tuned all the way to the end so you don't miss a thing. First up, we have 250 best magic items for Bards, Sorcerers, and Warlocks and Wizards from MageGate Games, $9.99. 84 pages. This is part of a series. They're doing a book for several classes at a time. They've got 3 of them out already, and the next one will have clerics, monks, and paladins. We looked at one last week, but they didn't have a preview working, so I wanted to include it again this week so that you could see some of the previews. But we did talk about a different book last week. We looked at the one for barbarians, druids, and rangers. So this time we're going to look at bards, sorcerers, warlocks, and rogues. And it's basically 250 items that are geared towards those classes, and they scale with your proficiency bonus. They grant class abilities or racial traits, unlock bonus powers based on class. They have magical tattoos, alchemy, constructs, all kinds of different things in here. So now we're going to actually get a chance to look inside. So the cover is fun. It reminds me of 3rd edition with those kind of book covers that they used to have. So very fun there. Nice font. But yeah, we get to see the art. Lots of beautiful art in here. It looks like it's hyperlinked, which is super helpful. So there's a whole chapter here on magic item rarity, and then some adventure hooks. And then starts with the items A to Z. So we'll look at some of those, but you're getting to see 15 of the 84 pages. So that's a good, healthy preview. So let's take a look at the Amulet of Fire here. It's a wondrous item. It's rare, requires attunement by an arcane spellcaster. This bright red metal amulet has an intricate orange flame pattern sculpted into its surface. It radiates abjuration and divination magic. Its power, you speak, read, and write primordial. Another power is you gain immunity to fire damage and have resistance to cold damage. And then special, if you are an abjurer or evoker, you also gain resistance to radiant damage. So that's kind of cool how they have things broken down into what does it radiate, what kind of thing would you detect on it. Like maybe if you did detect magic on this, you would find out, okay, I'm sensing some abjuration and divination involved in this item. It's a very descriptive, fun way to have little extra details here. So I like that each of these has this sort of radiate section, and then it's got the powers, tagged as powers, and then you've got a special, which if you're this type of subclass or whatever, if you're focused on abjuration spells or evocation spells, then you gain resistance to radiant damage on top of these other things. So that's cool. I mean, I like things that make magic items more deep and detailed. So very fun. We'll look at another one here. Let me scroll past the amulets and see what we can find here. So let's look at this arcane tapestry. It's a wondrous item, very rare, requires attunement by an arcane spellcaster. This is a gorgeous 10 by 10 embroidered silk tapestry that weighs 20 pounds. The tapestry depicts a moment of triumph in the life of its former owner. Interestingly, the tapestry itself can be seen in the background of this event. While rolled, the item requires either one creature to drag it, having their speed, or two to carry it in both hands or with one hand over their shoulders. And it radiates abjuration, conjuration, evocation, and transmutation magic. And then the first of, it looks like 4 powers. When you first attune to this item, the image in the tapestry changes to the moment you defeated whatever stood in your way before gaining this item. You appear in the tapestry alone, standing triumphant over whatever you defeated to acquire the tapestry. You look imposing and dynamic, a real hero. So this particular power is kind of like a ribbon, but I think it's awesome in terms of storytelling potential, because you have this thing that's going to morph in front of you. It's going to change its imagery, and tapestries are typically made by hand and take time, so this will show the magic by showing this picture. And then for the second power, it says you learn Glyph of Warding, and once per long rest you may cast it on this item without material components or using a spell slot. The tapestry can contain only one glyph at a time. And then the third power, you can meld with tapestry whenever you wish. To do so, the tapestry must be unrolled. When you do, you become part of the item. While melded, you gain the elf's racial trance trait. You see and hear anything that happens within 30 feet. So it's kind of like meld into stone, but a little bit different. So that's awesome. And then another power, once per long rest, you may teleport to the location depicted in the tapestry. If you're currently using meld with tapestry, you must exit it first. Okay. And then special, if you are a conjurer, you may take one large size or smaller creature with you when you teleport through this item's power. After teleporting through, you may also teleport back through the tapestry. You appear wherever the tapestry is at the moment. You may return teleport through it once per short or long rest, and you may bring one large size or smaller creature with you when you do. So lots of fun powers. Again, something specific if you're a conjurer, so this is better if you're a conjurer, but I like all these different powers. I like that there's some ribbon stuff for storytelling. It seems like each of the ones we've read so far has some story potential, which is nice. And I do like the radiation element they have here. So I'm liking it. I'm liking the structure, and I'm assuming the whole series is this way. You can look at the other ones by clicking the link and then clicking through to look at the other ones as well. But I really think they're doing something different here. They got lots of items. I mean, 250 items. You're bound to find some that work for you. I like both the ones I looked at. So, yeah. And then, like I said, they've got the other ones down here, so you can check those out. So look for it in the video links under 250 best magic items. Give it a click and enjoy. All right, next we've got 30 Days of BORG Adventure Chapbook number 2. And it's got a fun little cover there by Rugos Cone. It's $11 for 68 pages, and of course it's for BORG. Across the endless sea lies an island filled with unimaginable blasphemies. A heretical religion thrives in the place known as on the mainland as the Island of Dying Gods. The island's last town, New Galgenbeck, lives in the shadow of the Cathedral of Wezu. The residents, all believers in a monkey-faced ever-living deity, carry out murderous tasks assigned to them by their religious leader, a man known simply as the Bishop. So, kind of a cool little setup. It says there's a group of recluses that wage war of attrition against a terrifying foe with the help of some supernatural or otherworldly entity. And then there's something called the Spire of Malice, a towering lighthouse that holds secrets. And it's got 3 adventures all on the same island, so you can run them independently or basically make a campaign out of it. And it's really designed for BORG, but it says here that it's compatible and easily adaptable to others. So, and a lot of BORG content is adaptable pretty easily. So another reason I like to show it. So the full preview, I don't know if this is a mistake or not, but it looks like it's maybe showing one of the maps. And that's easy to do because you have to kind of select the file that it shows by going to your publishing section and then managing the previews on your titles. So they probably didn't mean to show a map here. Maybe they did. But I think with 68 pages, they'll probably want to show something else. But in any case, I think that map looks really cool. And you can see here by looking at the quick preview that there's some other gorgeous maps in here as well. Yep, more maps. So I think, yeah, they've got the map file set on their preview. So if you're watching RugrasCon, maybe you can update that so people can see some of the interiors. Although I like the maps, so maybe showing even part of the maps as an image in here would be cool. But I think it's promising with what you've got on the maps, and the cover looks really nice. And I like these places, you know, the House of Lost Hopes, Spire of Malice. So I'm encouraged that this is pretty good. It's already got a 5-star rating, so check it out under 30 days of MÖRK in the links below. Give it a click. Next we have Basilisk Hills Ultimate by Todd LeBack. It says it's designed for old school essentials. But it's listed over here as, you know, classic D&D, Osric, Labyrinth Lord, Swords and Wizardry, all those. It's from Third Kingdom Games, $22.95 for the PDF, but it's 315 pages. You can also get softcover, hardcover versions, and even bundles, so anywhere from $41 to $67. And this particular book combines the compiled Basilisk Hills cluster with the supplemental book. So you're creating a Hexcrawl region of 107 total 6-mile hexes. So we've covered some of the books in this series before. They're focused on detailing out in each book an individual hex. And so this book combines a bunch of those so that you get a bunch of hexes with fully detailed, you know, monsters, layers, all kinds of stuff. And it's really, really a fun series. And I've always enjoyed looking at them because I think the concept of just detailing one hex per book is a really solid concept. So it says 98 6-mile hexes that surround the main Basilisk Hills cluster. This supplemental book provides enough dungeons, layers, and interesting features to keep your players exploring for months of game time. It's written for old school essentials, but usable in any old school system. It also contains background on the world of Absalom, as well as tips on how to run the Hexcrawl. So you can see some of the hexes here: Lair of the Troglodytes, the Plateau of Sighs, the Basilisk Knights, the Toppled King, all kinds of fun descriptive names. It says together they form an adventuring location that can keep your players busy. There's a town suitable for use as a home base, new spells and magic items, new classes including the Half-Dryad Grove Guardian, Troglodytes, Morlocks, Orcs, and more. New rules for expanding your OSR-style game, including magical research, ritual magic. Yeah, I want to get this. This sounds fun to read through. I haven't gotten to play OSR. Someday I'll get to play it. But I think it'd just be fun even to read through. And I love that they have the POD options here so that you can get it in print as well. But look at this. I mean, this art is just always gorgeous. And it looks like Jen Drummond is the artist, so good job, Jen. And you can see all the details on the hexes here. They've got the numbers. Their books have numbers too, so you'll see a book called Hex 0717, and it's you know, devoted to that particular hex. So it's cool to see them collected. Lots of hexes. You can see how many are in this one. Just tons of hexes, and then details on some of these bigger ones. Yeah, looks fun. And a lot of their titles have gotten good reviews, so I think even though we didn't get to read any of the interior in that preview, I think it's going to be a lot of fun for people playing OSR because it's collected so much stuff together and 315 pages of stuff. So got to find something in there that you can use for sure. So check it out under Basilisk Hills Ultimate Hexcrawl in the links below and give it a click. Next we've got Death in the Darkness by Grimm Press. It's $6.99. It's also part of a magazine series, so this is issue 3 in a series called Unearthed Spoils. It's 22 pages. It says each volume of Unearthed Spoils is to be roughly 20 to 30 pages and packed with full color art illustrating different types of 5th edition compatible content surrounding around a central theme: magic items, classes, archetypes, magical spells, monsters and NPCs, ancestries, all that stuff. And so this particular issue contains a magic item set. It says, rumors speak about the Sanguis Lord's power, but the true strength is found when you've acquired all 4 pieces of this unique item set. And then there's spells creeping from the darkness. These 8 spells are sure to haunt your adventures. And then you've got a variant rule, undead traits, mundane skeletons and zombies are boring. So let's spice them up a touch. These variant rules will introduce some unique qualities to help keep your players on their toes. Ghoulish bestiary, 14 new creatures are ready to shamble into your campaign, including a template to create rot dragons from the corpses of fallen remains. Undead encounter, a short undead encounter that can be dropped into any campaign, complete with a battle map depicting a small settlement besieged by an undead army. So all kinds of stuff going on. And this is, look at how beautiful this is. They've got a whole magic item set. And so all these things, if worn together, give you benefits outside of individually wearing them. You know, each item has individual abilities, but when combined together, you get even more abilities. And I like that they have a depiction of someone wearing all of the pieces together. So quite nice. And it's cool that a book is part of the set, because normally it's just, you know, the armor pieces and maybe a weapon, right? So I like that. And then down here, you've got some reanimated beasts. So you've got a corpse hound, a corpse wolf, a vulture, all that stuff. So really beautiful art as well. I like that. And Bob Gravenstein is the artist on all this stuff. So cool. Let's look inside. So you've got the intro, shows you what's available. So you've got, it starts with the items and goes into spells, and then the variant rule with undead traits. And then you've got those undead items. So here's your item set. And then your spells. We'll look at one of the spells in a minute. And then here's your undead traits. So it says undead creatures can generally be classified into 2 types: those that possess a physical corporeal form, such as skeletons and zombies, and those that have an amorphous, gaseous, or ethereal form, such as ghosts or shadows. Additionally, these creatures could be further subdivided: beings that are innately capable of independent thought and those that are not. For example, a skeleton raised by a necromancer's incantations may be bound to follow their creator's instructions, whereas those free from control may exhibit habitual patterns mimicking those of their former life. So it seems like there's separate traits for corporeal and incorporeal, so that's cool. And then there's a whole section of potential traits. So you can mix in these traits with your undead, or you could even take some of these and put them on other monsters just to mix it up. Keep your players guessing. So then you've got your bestiary, so putrefied masses. So getting to see 10 of the 22 pages, so a nice healthy preview here. Let's go back up and read one of the spells. We've got one here called Banshee's Anguish. It's a 5th level enchantment. It's for Bard, and its duration is instantaneous, and it's got a range of 30 feet on yourself there. So you unleash a mournful wail, harming creatures of your choosing that are within range and can hear you. A target must succeed on a Constitution saving throw or take 10d8 psychic damage and become deafened for 1 minute. At the end of each of its turn, a deafened creature can make another con saving throw. On a success, the spell ends on the creature, and this spell has no effect on undead or constructs, okay? And then it has at higher levels, so when you cast the spell using a higher spell slot, you do more damage. So fun stuff. I like the Banshee angle. It ties into the Bard, you know, singing and making music as well, so it's cool that it goes for the Bard there. So that's just one of the spells. There's a bunch of spells in here, and there's lots of cool art. So check it out under Death and Darkness in the links below and give it a click. Next, we've got Ptolus, Doctrine of Ghul by Bruce R. Cordell and Monty Cook Games. $5.99 for 31 pages for 5th edition. It says an ancient manuscript scribed by the half-god himself, Ghul, the creator of Goth Gulgamel, the fortress halfway up the spire, self-proclaimed offspring of Esla Thagos Malkith, who himself created the wicked citadel at the top of the spire, one of the most innately evil sites in the world. Lately, talk has been swirling around Delver's Square, talk of a newly uncovered ancient manuscript scribed by the half-god himself. And it says, some seek the manuscript to ensure it is destroyed. A few want to glorify Ghul, and some believe it holds the key to powerful magics they hope to harness for themselves. The motives are varied, but one thing is certain: the race to find it is on. Does the manuscript even exist? And if it does, what does its unearthing portend? Doctrine of Ghul is a hefty standalone adventure set in Ptolis, Monty Cook's city by the Spire. And it says it's suitable for characters of roughly 5th level or Cypher System characters of roughly 2nd tier. So Ptolis is cool. It's like a city-based setting, and it's from Monty Cook, so it's always been an interesting setting for me. I think that Monty Cook is really talented, and so a lot of people are interested in Monty's work, and so it's cool that there's now another adventure for that setting, and it's from Monty Cook, so it's official, and looks cool. I wish it was a little bit of a preview, even if it was just an excerpt in here, and that we could read for you. But in any case, I know a lot of you are interested in Monty Cook stuff, so I wanted to make sure to include it even without the preview, so that you guys are aware that it's out there. So check it out under Doctrine of Ghul and give it a click. Next we have the Eldryn, a union of elf and dryad with a fun cover, and it's by Beth Jones or D20PFSRD Publishing. And it's $4.99 for 40 pages for 5th edition. Inside you'll find a new race for use in your 5th edition games. This cross between elves and dryads draws on the powers of nature and internal mystical energy in the form of one of 5 of the different tree bonds to defeat their opponents and overcome challenges. You'll also find over 24 class specializations and backgrounds to further customize your game experience. So that's cool. So here's the Eldryn. You can see the artwork, some nice artwork here. And then you've got information on all the different abilities. And then you've got the Scaled Sorcerer, a little bit about the Scaled Sorcerer down here. So let's take a look inside. But I'm loving the artwork and the layout. It looks really nice. So we get to see 6 of the 40 pages. So you've got some subclasses in here. We'll look at one of those in a minute. And then we've got something called the Circle of the Songbird, which it looks like it is also a subclass. So fun. Circle of the Songbird is made up of artists, musicians, and lore keepers who safeguard druidic knowledge and traditions through songs, storytelling, and musical compositions. Their meetings are always held outside under the open sky, and they shun the use of bird feathers as accoutrements in fashion. Members of the circle are beacons of hope, just as the return of the birds each spring symbolizes rebirth and joyous days to come. So they get a bonus cantrip and a bonus proficiency, and then they have certain spells. And then it says something called Morning Has Broken. So at 6th level, you cast Daylight as an 8th spell. You can't use this feature again until you finish a long rest. And then Serenade of Good Tidings. When you reach 10th level, as a bonus action on your turn, you can select one creature within 30 feet that you can see and who can hear you. You whistle a short tune to grant the creature advantage on attack rolls for a minute. During this time, the creature can't be frightened. You can't use this feature again until you finish a long rest or spend 2 uses of your wild shape. So very cool. It's nice that you have to whistle. That's a nice little touch. And then it says 14th level, you gain the ability to sprout a pair of feathered wings from your back, gaining a fly speed equal to your current speed. You can create these wings as a bonus action on your turn. They last for 10 minutes or until you dismiss them as a bonus action on your turn. Whenever you are flying using this feature and you are required to make a dex saving throw, you gain advantage on the roll. You can't manifest your wings while wearing armor unless the armor is made to accommodate them, and clothing not made to accommodate your wings might be destroyed when you manifest them. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier. So very cool. I like the artwork as well. And then we've got Circle of the Swarm and some cool art for that. And then Sacred Oaths. Below are new Sacred Oaths for the Paladin. So you've got Oath of Enlightenment. So Oath of Illumination. That looks fun. It says Paladins taking the Oath of Illumination promise to ferret out and eliminate secret sex intent on evil acts. Those known as Lightbringers take a straightforward approach of the frontal assault, while the Shadow Stalkers use a subtle approach involving infiltration and finesse to remove the most insidious of organizations. No matter their methods, these righteous paladins have pledged to rid the world of evil, one threat at a time, until the darkness is vanquished and the light prevails. Very cool. So yeah, fun stuff in here, and that's just the subclasses. There's a whole new race in here and a bunch of stuff in the 40 pages, and 40 pages for $4.99 is pretty good. So check it out under Eldryn in the links below and give it a click. Next we've got the Fetid Revel by T.A. Gray, and it's free from Scoundrel Game Labs, so no reason not to get this. It says, enter the Feywild with this adventure for characters with an average party level of 3. The adventurers come across a satyr's revel deep in the forest, but not all is as it seems. Are your players prepared for glowing poisonous mushrooms, a satyr bard that dabbles in necromancy, and an undead minotaur with a nasty surprise? So that's cool. And we've looked on this channel before, we looked at T.A. Gray's work, and it's good. There's a video we have on T.A.'s book for Theros Encounters. It's a fun one, so you should look back through the previous videos and look at that one. So I'm excited for this. I definitely am going to get it myself since it's free. So let's take a look at the inside. So you get to see the whole book since it's free. So you've got using the adventure, story hooks. Here's some of the hooks. We'll read those in a minute. Cool maps, beginning the adventure. And then the bonfire, all this stuff, and then a stat block for 𝙬𝙘𝙀 the Restless with some cool artwork. Yeah, it looks really nice. I'm not sure if you get this map separately or not. So if you're watching TA, that might be something to add to the description if it comes with this map, because it looks like a nice looking map, and that's a good bonus. In any case, this is free, so it's not a problem if you don't get it, but that'd be a even more reason to click on the link and get it. A curious Fey merchant has offered a big reward for anyone willing to bring back Damp Shade and Frog Beak from the nearby forest, so that's one of the story hooks. And then a stranger mentions that nearby woods are full of mushrooms with strange properties, and that's another hook. And then given their rarity, these mushrooms make an excellent offering to the powerful Fey that roam this plane. So lots of fun little hooks here. A lot of people are playing in the Feywild right now. Wild Beyond the Witchlight, my book Feywild Companion. People are using these things going into the Feywild. So to grab a free adventure to continue the fun, I mean, why not? And hopefully, TA, you've got ads in here for some of your other books, because I do want people to find those, because they are quite good. So I don't know if none of them are shown on here, but maybe they're shown in the book as well. But I like it. I think it's great. I'm going to go ahead and click this, and then when I'm done recording, I'm going to go back and check out so I can have a copy too. So you should do the same by looking for Fetid Revel in the links below and giving it a click. Next, we've got Flantastic Ooze Spells. I almost said fantastic, but it's Flantastic Ooze Spells by Spencer Hibnick. It says 12 ooze-themed spells. Melt your opponent's armor off with a corrosive bolt, trap your enemies in a fatal surprise with gelatinous wall, or conjure an 𝙬𝙘 to fight at your side. And this looks like an 𝙬𝙘. I love this art. And it's looks like that art's either by Nat Martin or Dean Spencer. So it's $2.95 for 8 pages, and this is 5th edition compatible. And it contains 12 ooze-themed spells for bards, druids, rangers, sorcerers, warlocks, and wizards. So you've got Agar Eyes, turn your eyes into ooze and gain blind sight. Gelatinous Wall, trick your foes into running into a wall of gelatinous cube. Molasses Wave, sweep your enemies off their feet like it's 1919. 6-second Putty, conjure a clump of fast hardening goo. And Zenedia's Instant Engulf, drop a titanic cube of gelatin on your foes. And we just read a few. We're not reading all of them, but there's no preview on this. It'd be cool, Spencer, if you're watching, to maybe include a screen capture of even part of one of the spells so people can get a taste of your writing. Or, add a preview. I know with books that are only 8 pages, it's better to give less away. So maybe just one spell here, just so people can get a taste, make sure they like your writing. But it sounds really creative. I love the names. I like this notion. Oozes are just a fun fantastical area of D&D, so I'm always excited whenever I'm going through picking titles for the lineup for this video to find something related to, an ooze or, gelatinous cube or something. So bravo, looks like a lot of fun. Check it out under Flantastic Ooze Spells in the links below. Give it a click. Next we have Godbangers, Rowdy Paladins Fighting Evil Gods from Catalyst. And it says game ready lore to introduce defiant paladins who oppose cruel gods. It's $2.95, 15 pages with authors Theodore Kokovidis and Christina Kritkow. And Christina's also the artist. It says, do you solemnly swear to F up evil gods? Join the ranks of Godbangers, a rowdy order of god-defying paladins that fight against divine injustice. Game-ready lore to turn paladins of any subclass into rowdy god-defying Godbangers. Dependable Godbanger NPC comrades, including an orc farmer turned into a fierce paladin, reformed pirates, and a runaway ogre princess that oppose the warring gods. Mysterious and powerful NPC allies, including a rebellious archangel, a defiant dragon adventurer, and a legendary muscle wizard. A deadly pantheon of 8 gods that fight each other for cosmic supremacy. And, of course, beautiful illustrations. It says the world is at the brink of destruction as the gods wage the final cosmic war, 𝙬𝙤𝙀𝙀. In these dark times, mortals must defy the warring gods and band together to save their world from ruin. The Order of 𝙬𝙀𝙀, affectionately known as the Godbangers, welcomes any mortal who is willing to fight the gods and their servants with righteous vengeance. Loud and foul-mouthed, spontaneous and rowdy, these are not your typical paladins, squatting in half-ruined palaces and indulging in epic orgies between equally epic battles. The Godbangers have the guts to stand up and fight against the gods. They live on the edge, but a Godbanger paladin is never alone. Join forces with the unique comrades and enlist powerful allies to bring the war to unjust cosmic rulers who would see the world undone in their mad bid for supremacy. So, very fun. I like the concept a lot, and I mean this art is just really cool. Here's a section on the gods. I'm a sucker for a wheel with art in it. I always think that's a cool design approach, and you can see they've got all the different gods depicted in this wheel here, and there's startings of the lore. We're not seeing all of the lore for all the gods, but we get to see 3 right here, and then you've got a little bit of lore of the faction, because this is really giving you a faction, it's giving you a subclass, it's giving you a pantheon, so it's giving you quite a lot of stuff for only $3 basically. Let's take a look inside. Alright, so here's the contents. You get to see 6 of the 15 pages. So you've got the intro, all about the faction, and then you've got the oaths itself, as well as the ranks, and then information on the culture and lifestyle and symbols, and then all the way down through the allies and comrades. So you're getting a bunch of NPCs, and then you get, in the appendices, you get information on the gods as well as other 𝙬𝙀𝙀𝙀 orders. So all of this sounds really good to me. So here, here's an intro, who they are, and it talks about the cosmic war, and then the oaths, ranks, and then the culture and lifestyle. Fun stuff down here. All the information on the people that like the NPCs. So let's read a little bit about some of these comrades. So 𝙬𝙤𝙀𝙀𝙀 is a young half-elf woman and one of the numerous children of the fallen saint slayer 𝙬𝙤𝙀𝙀𝙀. Growing up in a 𝙬𝙀𝙀𝙀 temple orphanage, she trained to become a paladin of the pure mind, see Appendix B. While serving in the city guard, as an adult, she realized she would rather fight in the wild and reckless campaigns of the Godbangers than spend her life in strict discipline and bearing oaths of purity as a paladin of the pure mind. Now she follows in her father's footsteps, doing all she can to oppose the agents of the warring gods across the free realms that still defy them. So I like the setup that the gods are just having it out, that there's this massive war going on, and that the players are basically stuck in the middle of this, and they have to help. So I think this is pretty cool. Here's another one. Granny Kimra is a venerable orc godbanger who has survived countless battles. Too old to fight anymore, Granny Kimra focuses on healing the wounded and preparing hearty meals using ingredients of dubious origins. She has several grandchildren and great-grandchildren, and at least 5 of them are named after her. And then it lists the names, including Little Kimra, Kimra Quarter Org. So it's kind of funny there that there's so many people named Kimra in that family. But it's amusing and will be amusing to your players as well. You know, oh, that's Little Kimra, and that's Kimra the whatever, you know. I can see the players having fun with that. So, and that's just a taste of it. I think this has a lot to offer. I'm loving the artwork, and I think it's a really enjoyable concept. So I think you should check it out by looking for Godbangers Rowdy Paladins in the links below and giving it a click. Next, we have GPH2 Coral Basilica of the Water Genies, and it's an adventure for 4 to 7 high-level characters in OSR. And yeah, it says the adventurers seek out the emerald of aquatic perfection, reputed to be held within an undersea palace. And it says it can be dropped into any high-level campaign for OSR. So let's take a look at the inside. So you get to see 6 of the 22 pages. Cool gemstone on the front, and I love this little OSR compatible logo, because it looks like those old, you know, blue and white maps. It's just a fun logo. And this is by Rob Couture. So we'll read a little bit of that. But what was cool when I first flipped through this is there's this giant turtle thing with this palace on top of it, and then this coral. So, you know, that's a spoiler, because maybe the players don't realize that they're on the Great Turtle. But yeah, it looks fun. And then there's these water genies, and it's got information on the water genies and their tactics. So we'll read a little bit of that. So it says a water genie is a powerful being of elemental water. All have characteristic appearances. They are around 9 feet tall with fish-like faces and iridescent scales, and wear fancy embroidered vests and colorful pantaloons. When they fly, their lower body transforms into a water spout. They wield massive tridents and forceful jets of water in combat. And then it goes into the tactics and the differences, so you can read that on your own. And you've got a map of where everything is in relation to this turtle. And then here, let's read the flavor text for the turtle. You swim through the depths of a blue-green sea. Schools of bioluminescent creatures float and dart about you. Some cautious, others curious, all incidentally lighting your way. As you swim deeper, you discern the outline of an enormous shadow looming ahead. This must be the palace. As you get closer, a large part of the shadow stretches toward you into the turquoise light. 2 close-set nostrils, 2 far-set eyes, and a broad mouth. The scaly hole is wider than a castle wall. A massive reptilian face. You hear its deep voice in your minds. Who are you? So that's fun. They do know that there's some sort of giant reptile. So I guess I didn't spoil anything, but the name of it is, this dragon turtle is 𝙬𝙬𝙧. So that's awesome. I mean, it's a dragon turtle, right? So Fizban's Treasure of Dragons just came out, and it's got dragon turtles, and people want to have adventures to play with that out. So it's nice that there's this dragon turtle involved in all of this. And the character just seems really fun. It's speaking in your mind. It's got a name called 𝙬𝙬𝙧, which is fun. And it just seems like a really good time. So I think you should check this out under GPH2 in the links below and give it a click and have some fun. Next, we've got Hellcrow's Final Rest. It's a level 1 to 3 adventure for OSR. It's by Gus L. and Rat King Productions, and it's completely free. So can't go wrong with completely free. Even if you don't use the completely free stuff, it can inspire you to create something else, or maybe you'll just take a snippet out and use it, or you'll use the whole thing. So this is the fishing hamlet of Asky Burns, the populace dead in the streets. Off the headland, a dragon ship rides low in the water. The tall, stiff figure on its bow ignores the charred ruin of a town, focused instead on the flickering candlelight still burning in Asky's partially submerged shrine to the sea god. says originally written in 2012 for the Rambling of the Great Khan's blog and adventure contest, and winning second place. 𝘎𝙬𝙘 Final Rest is a short scenario for 46 low-level characters that emphasizes negotiation, trickery, and moral decision over combat. Open-ended and written for OSR, it's now updated to include 6 pages with layout and new art, so very cool. And then since the original was offered for free, they're going to continue offering this one as free. So that's nice. They updated it with an intention of still giving it away. So very cool. And let's look inside, and oh, look at this nice art and layout. So like I said, even if you don't play this whole adventure, there might be things in here you can use elsewhere. So if it's free, you might as well grab it and see what you can make with it. So here's some nice moody intro. You're getting to see basically the whole book in the preview as well, so no reason not to look at this. So you've got this table that you can roll on, or no, okay, these are the numbered sections. All right, I thought it was a table. All right, so here's the lower level. So this is 1, and then it describes that, and 2, etc. So we'll read something from there in a minute. And then you've got all the other areas. And then you've got stats for Turgis Hell's Crow here. And Sea Giant Crab. All kinds of stuff. Well, let's go back up and read one of the locations here. Or in the intro here. Dedicated to an ancient sea king, this shrine predates ASCII by hundreds of years and is a location of divine power. Within the shrine, Turgis and his undead creatures may be harmed by normal weapons and suffer -2 to hit and damage rolls. In the undercroft of the shrine to the Seahorn rests, protected by a guardian 𝙤𝙤𝙢𝙬𝙀 and a few of the village thanes who escape the shrine with their families. The entire shrine is hewn from a black boulder, and its walls and ceiling enriched by spiral carryings and runes. The bodies of the local thane wearing fine chainmail and Draugr with a great axe sprawl in the surf that laps the entry steps. The 2 died in Turgis' initial assault before the shrine guardian awoke. So that's what's in this entryway. So fun. I like it, and it's free, and the artwork is fun and playful. Nice layout. So good job. I think this is a fun one for people. So check it out under 𝘎𝙬𝙘 Final Rest in the links below and give it a click. Next we have 𝙤𝙬𝙘 Eye of Llās and Other Relics by Benjamin Wenham. And it's from Dark Forest Press for $2.69 for 12 pages. It says, you remember the first time you got a ring of protection +1, right? I do. It was awesome. I treasured that ring still. My first fighter Pike carried it right all the way up until his untimely death at level 3. Do you remember your third item? No. Well, 𝙤𝙬𝙘 Eye of Llās and Other Relics provides 20 magic items for old school essentials and other OSR games to help you recapture that feeling of wonder. And let's take a look inside. So here's a few of the items. So they got Lantern of the Fireflies. This glass sphere is held in a cage of silken rope and contains a score of unusually bright fireflies. The carrier of this lantern can always find their way home. It casts light in a 20-foot radius, requires no fuel. The fireflies point towards the nearest forest. Command word: upon speaking the correct command word, the fireflies will gather and point towards the bearer's home. So that's a fun little flavorful item, very memorable. I like the visuals of it with the fireflies not only being in this lantern, but moving within it to show the direction of something. So that's really cool and flavorful. And then you've got things like the Ring of the Magpie, the Cloak of Raven Feathers, and the Ring of Meteoric Iron. So let's read about the Ring of the Magpie. A ring of silver set with a jet and ivory representation of a magpie's tail feather. The wearer can teleport an object into their hand. So the target has to be a person within 30 feet. Steal one item not held in the target's hand but on their person, and once per day. And these items seem like they could be converted to even 5th edition pretty carefully with a crafty DM. So I like it. I think there's a lot of flavor here. I like the names of things, and I feel like the author, Benjamin Wenham, is accomplishing what the description says, which is memorable items, right? There's a lot of items you can get out there, but are they truly memorable? Not all of them are. So I'm excited that this exists to give you some flavorful items. So look for it under 𝙤𝙬𝙬𝙬 in the links below and give it a click. Next we have Love's Labors, Liabilities, Spells, Magic Items, Monsters, and Adventures from 𝙤𝙤𝙬𝙀 Publishing. It's $6. Authors Leland Beauchamp, 𝙤𝙤𝙬𝙀, and John McGuire. 57 pages. And it says it's for 5th edition. I noticed, though, if you're watching anybody from 𝙤𝙤𝙬𝙀 Publishing, it doesn't have 5e checked as one of the boxes to let people know it's 5th edition. You should update that, because people will sometimes search just by 5th edition, and without that box checked, your book isn't going to show up. So anyway, it is for 5th edition, and it's a zine about bringing love and the cost of love to your gaming table. It's a sequel, so there's another book out there if you like this one. It's got subclasses, backgrounds, feats, spells, monsters, and more. And it says, as a warlock whose otherworldly elemental patron is obsessed with them, you experience the perversion of love, all the while stealing your stalker's powers until you have enough experience to escape their emotional prison. That's a fun roleplay angle, right? Using the elemental lightning lord's powers, you will seize control and destroy your captor. I like that, because that could, at the end of the campaign, you could be destroying your patron. Very fun angle. For those that have been hurt in love, there is the monk monastic tradition, Way of the Broken Heart. Loss feels the subclass. The stages of grief give them powers to combat those that would hurt them further. There are 6 monsters thematically tied to the scene's tale, including Cupid, Eyes of the Storm, Lightning Elemental, Mistletoe, Millhive, and the Ghost General. Against them, you'll play as the child of an elemental or chaste individual. New feats, new spells, and new magic items round out some of the options you'll love about this. And then there's guidance offering, how to keep the game fun and safe for players. So I like that it's got some safety information. But all in all, you're getting 2 subclasses, including the ones we mentioned, 2 backgrounds, 2 feats, 4 spells, 5 magic items, 6 monsters, 2 adventure hooks, a poem, a short story, an essay. And then here's some praise that people have given it. Unfortunately, there's no preview. Maybe when you're editing to add the 5th edition, you can add even just an image snippet of something, whether it's a spell or a feat, just to give people a chance to judge your writing a little bit before they purchase. I think that's always helpful. Nobody knows if the catalog description was written by the authors of the book, so it's hard to judge the book's writing based on the catalog description. So yeah, just a little snippet in here would be good, or even a small preview. You may have tried to have one and it's broken. That happens a lot. So by the time you guys click on the link, some of those things may be in here. Even if it's not, it does sound really fun. I love these subclass concepts. Both of them sound like a hoot. And I'm guessing the other stuff is equally fun. So check it out under Love's Labors, Liabilities in the links below, and give it a click. Next we have The Meditant by Beth Jones and Anjus Farr and Anjus Farr Productions. It is for 5th edition. It's only $1.50 for the 9 pages, and this represents a brand new class called The Meditant. With the help of meditation, breathing exercises, and visualization, meditants develop a 6th sense, gaining the ability to process sensory data, both tangible and intangible stimuli, to push their minds and bodies beyond normal limits. Meditants blend a unique combination of intuitive ability with an intellectual study of maths and sciences to accomplish their goals. Meditants are healers, academics, and artists. They identify and release areas of blockage in the body, restoring health and balance, apply the laws of science and mathematics to achieve stunning feats of athleticism, and as they perfect their inward journey of self-discovery, they master the art of becoming one with their weapon in combat, executing a choreographed series of thrusts and parries to claim victory on the battlefield. And it's got a fun cover with some really nice art by Anjus Farr. So let's take a look inside. So you've got more fun artwork inside, of course. And then here's your class intro with the table. It talks about their potential and then the features of the class. So you're getting to see almost the whole book here, which is really nice of them to offer all that. So really no excuse not to take a look and see if you can use this class, if it works for you. And of course it's got some of the subclasses that go along with it. It looks like those are under meditant discipline. So you've got will of the mind, will of the body. So you've got various options to choose on your subclass as well, because anytime you have a new class, you have to have subclass options, of course. So looking at some of the abilities, it says extension of self. At first level, you select one simple weapon or martial weapon with which you are proficient to be your extension of self weapon. This choice is permanent and cannot be changed. When using this weapon, you calculate angles, timing, motion, energy, and force to optimize its use. This expertise allows you to add half of your dexterity modifier rounded down to a minimum of 1 to your damage rolls. And then also at first level, you can heal wounds, your own or those of others, by touch. Each day you can use this ability of number of times equal to half your meditant level plus your wisdom modifier rounded down. With one use of this ability, you can heal 1d6 hit points of damage, and it increases over time. And then it says you have developed a sixth sense that alerts you to the presence of magic. At first level, you can use detect magic as a spell-like ability up to 3 times per day. You regain these uses after a long rest. You can also double your proficiency bonus when making Arcana skill checks. So some fun stuff, and there's other abilities here, but we won't give it all away. I want you to come check this out. Maybe you want a new class, and this could be an option for you with some fun artwork and some subclasses to go along with it. And it's only $1.50. So check it out under Meditant in the links below and give it a click. Next we have Naughty Naughty Children, and it's a Yuletime adventure. So we're getting into some of the holiday adventures for end of the year holidays like Christmas. So you've gotten it's from verse 26. It's a pay what you want, suggested price of $5 for the 41 pages. The author is B. Garrow. So as a group of young orphans turned heroes must traverse a frozen hellscape and face its many dangers to save the children taken in the night by a wicked creature and to stop an evil plot to overthrow the 8th circle of hell. Unnatural cold, soul-devouring devils, and much more. This holiday-themed threat is sure to challenge any party's resolve. So, and it's for levels 3 to 5. So that's fun. I mean, people are going to be looking for holiday adventures. Maybe there's people coming home for the holidays that you want to have an adventure with. This could be an option. You're going to kind of probably need some one-shots unless these are people that you're playing with on Zoom or otherwise through the internet regularly. So this looks like it could be one. So it's got here all the information on the plot and the various locations. It's got some, points of interest with details on those. And then a lair, and then the foes at the end, as well as a toy table and a collection table. So it looks like it's fun, and you're going to need to see 5 of the pages. So it says, while Krampus might seem like a little challenge, the PCs will be softened up by the many environmental hazards. This module can... Oh, I read that wrong. So Krampus might seem like not much of a challenge, but the PCs are going to be kind of weakened by some of the environmental hazards. It can be made easier for the players by reducing the monster's hit points or reducing the frequency of the hypothermia saves. You can always make it more difficult with the tips here. So looks like it could be fun. We don't get to read really any of the contents of the adventure itself, so can't read any of that for you, but might be fun. And it's pay what you want, so you could always pay $0, download it, look at it, see if you're going to actually use it, and then go back and fill in a price here to pay if you plan to use it. So very cool. Check it out under Naughty Naughty Children in the links below. Next we have the Necromancer of Vork Wood. It's a third to 5th level characters, written for Worlds Without Number, but can be used with pretty much any OSR game. It's 25 pages. Author is Marcus Locke, and it's from parts per million. So you can see here it says the adventure incorporates some overland travel, social interaction with the village of Honeyside, and an undead-infested church complete with Necromancer. And then there's 4 VTT compatible battle maps, and you can see like the village here, some wandering monster tables, cool looking ruined church. And let's go look at the interior. So you've got the contents, intro about the adventure, the plot. You get to see pretty much the whole thing because it's 25-page preview here. So really cool. Get to check it out, read it first, see if you plan to use it or if it's something you like to run. And you can see some of these maps are nice. So even if you don't plan to run it, I think the maps can see some use because this is a busted up church. So, and then you've got this outside of the church, and then this kind of solitary path through the woods. So all very good stuff. I like it. Yeah, this looks fun to me. So we'll read a little bit of it here for you. All right, so graveyard and front door. The graveyard is overgrown with small trees trying to take over. Many of the graves have fallen into serious disrepair. The church's main entrance is missing its doors, and one of the stained glass windows is smashed to pieces. Wandering around the graveyard are 4 animated skeletons and 3 shambling corpses. On a successful skill check, the PCs should make their way around the graveyard unnoticed. If they fail, or if they enter the graveyard, the undead will attack. The skeletons will reach the PCs first. And the skill check is a sneak 9+. I just didn't read that. Sometimes when I'm reading, I skip over the numbers for the damage or the specifics, just to make it sound easier. If you're listening. So yeah, that's fun. Very descriptive locations. It says there are 14 sarcophaguses in here, 5 with skeletons depicted in their lids, 3 with females in flowing dresses, and 6 which are plain. There are 2 sarcophaguses in the center. One has candles on, and the other one has a dissected body lying on top. Standing around the room are 1 ravenous husk, 2 shambling corpses, and the necromancer. The necromancer is standing in the center of a pentagram chanting. The undead will attack, but the necromancer will continue casting his spells, trying to raise more undead to help him. So fun battle with the necromancer. It's even got some follow-up options, to questions to ask about the necromancer and stuff. So check it out under Necromancer of Vork Wood in the links below and give it a click. You've got Oath of Reliquary next. It's a Paladin Oath from Studio Okio World Design, and it's only 99 cents on sale. And it's 28 pages for 5th edition, author MWW. It says the heroic deeds of the lawful good paladins support and protect the fabric of the plains and strengthen it against the corrupting forces of chaos and evil. So believes Vizinestra of the 7 mounting heavens of Celestia. This belief compels Vizinestra to collect such deeds from across the planes of existence, to spirit them to Celestia, and to archive them in a golden vault known as the Reliquary, which stands high on a mountaintop within a golden palace engulfed by a ceaseless storm. Vizinestra directs ethereal messengers to the far-flung corners of every plane in search of the fledgling lawful good paladins. The paladins who answer the call take the oath of Reliquary. They believe lawful good works should never be forgotten, and indeed may be needed as a crucial bulwark should the forces of chaos and evil ever gain the upper hand. So there's original artwork, oath features, spells, handy graphs to aid in lining up various features over a number of combat rounds inside this book. So let's take a look inside. So you get to see 6 of the 28 pages. So 28 pages for a single subclass is substantial. I mean, that's great. Looks like there's a lot of artwork, and they've got a cool layout here. They've got a map of the plains, which is helpful. Yeah, all these different, you got the astral plane, positive plane here, outer planes, negative plane. Pretty fun. And then you got the tenets, spells. So it looks like it's got a single column layout, which is why it's got a lot of pages. But that makes it really easy to read, so I like that. So we get to read some of the tenets here. So you've got Law of the Storm. All atmospheric turbulence is sacred. It is law disguised as chaos and possesses the raw power that cleanses the planes of things chaotic and evil. Turn chaos into law. Then you've got Cleanse Within. The Paladin of Reliquary shall remain free of chaos and evil and will partake of nothing that will corrupt body and mind. Residents of deed, lawful good deeds are never in vain. Each and every lawful good deed has meaning and echoes through the planes of existence and strengthens creation against the forces of chaos and evil when the deeds are safely housed in the reliquary. And then the last tenet is connection charge. The oath taker shall never be without the bracer of Visanestra, the conduit of reliquary. So very cool, fun little sounding oaths. And yeah, I like the artwork. Looks like it could be a lot of fun. It's only 99 cents, so maybe you'll get something out of it even if you don't use the particular subclass. So check it out under Oath of Reliquary in the links below and give it a click. Next, we've got the C domain from the Realm Scribe and author Doug Swoger. It's only 50 cents suggested price on Pay What You Want. It is for 5th edition. It says it's a new cleric subclass focused on the worship of bountiful but harsh sea gods. It is a melee skirmisher subclass that fits perfectly into an island hopping sea adventure but can bring in some utility for inland adventures as well. So you get to see 3 of the 6 pages. So you've got the domain description, the spells, features, and then into all of those abilities. So you get to see pretty much the whole subclass here, which is nice in this preview. So let's look at some of the abilities. So Rough Sea, starting at first level, you learn to call upon the ocean to throw your enemies off balance. You can use your bonus action to summon a crashing wave to knock your enemy off their feet and force the creature you can see within 10 feet to make a strength saving throw, causing that creature to take bludgeoning damage and be knocked prone on a failed save. When you reach 8th and again at 14th level, the damage increases by 1d8. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier. You regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. And then it says starting at 2nd level, the cleric can use channel divinity to take part in the bounty of the ocean, summoning fish to feed and sustain their allies. You conduct an hour-long ritual that summons enough magical fish to sustain 7 creatures for a day and 40 gallons of water. And then starting at 6th level, you gain the following benefits. You gain resistance to cold damage, swim speed equal to your walking speed, breathe underwater, and you have advantage on attack rolls while you are submerged. So lots of fun water-themed stuff. I'm not going to read the whole subclass. You can come here and read it in the preview and see if it'll work for you. But I like some of the flavor of this, and looks like it could be fun, and it's only 50 cents. So check it out under C domain in the links below. Give it a click. Next we have Tenarlian, the Dying of the Light. It says the light is fading on a secluded forest valley in this grimdark holiday adventure. From Crumbling Keep, it's for 5th edition, author James Crane, $5 for 31 pages. The longest night is here again. The dwarves of the long winter vale are keeping their fires burning bright to drive back the darkness. They pass around plates of bread and drink spirits reserved for this night. Come the dawn, they'll celebrate the coming of the new year. Unfortunately, in the midst of their celebration, the lights begin to go out. In Tenarlian, the Dying of the Light, you attempt to survive in an adventure where torches are more powerful than magic. Evil things have come to the valley. Can you escape the encroaching darkness in this survival horror holiday adventure? So fun. Unfortunately, there's no preview to look inside, but I do like the artwork on the cover, and I like that it's holiday themed. It is 31 pages, so I felt like even without a preview, it was worth showing to you so that you could consider it. Maybe by the time you click the link, there'll be a preview or something, even a screen capture in here for you to look at and judge the writing before you purchase. But it sounds fun. I like the concept of, a torch being more important than anything, and trying to keep those torches from being snuffed out. It's a really cool angle, and it's not your traditional holiday thing that you would think of, right? So sometimes people get annoyed with things that are super traditional or seem to be done over often, people doing the same kind of Santa Claus thing over and over, right? So having something a little different can be important and fun and help your table stand out and feel like you're not just doing the same old. So I think this could be a fun one. And I encourage you to check it out because, like I said, they may add something in here. There's 31 pages, so they should have something they can show. They may have tried to, and it was just broken. This site can be really weird with previews, so but hopefully they'll put in a couple images or even a small preview for you to check out, so you can judge the writing and maybe get excited about it, just like I am by the cover and the description. So check it out under 𝙤𝙤𝙤𝙬 in the links below and give it a click. Next we have Wayfarer's Deck by Double Proficiency, and this particular one is called The Dark Forest. It's 50 illustrated encounters, findings, puzzles, wonders, and writing prompts for adventurers getting lost perhaps for the last time. It's $4.99 for 52 pages, and it says it's for OSR and Pathfinder and Dungeons and Dragons, but I think it could probably be used for pretty much almost anything because it's really just prompts and inspirations. We've covered a Wayfarer's Deck before. They're great fun, and this one's PDF format. I don't know if they'll make a card version at some point. That would be awesome. The printed cards on here are pretty cool that they do on DriveThru. So anyway, it says, provides a convenient way of creating engaging situations for the players. Instead of rolling for random encounters, you pick a card or draw one at random or roll a D100 and divide the result by 2. Whatever method sounds easier for you. The cards introduce a variety of encounters and don't dictate the solutions. You're never forced to fight whatever you found, and the players have full agency to do whatever they wish. There are no stat blocks and no answers to the mysteries. You're free to take the situation wherever the inspiration takes you. They're setting agnostic and compatible with any fantasy game. So you've got 50 illustrated encounters, all kinds of fun stuff. So you can see a few of them here. It says, choose your path carefully. Just a short hike through the forest, they said, but now the sun is setting, the sky is ablaze, and the mushrooms are looking at you weirdly. Did you take a wrong turn somewhere? Have you seen this place before, or are you lost? And yeah, really fun cards. And then there's a little video, and then there's some other links to check out. Let's see what's on the inside. So the preview gives you 10 of the 52 pages to look at, so that's cool. Zoom in and look at some of these cards. Heedless Horseman, Ghost Lights, Guardian, Greeter, Slumbering Tree, Wolf Seekers, Candy House, Apple Orchard, and The Village. So let's look at Candy House. It says, a strange hut made of ancient rock-hard biscuits and moldy candy canes peers decrepit from the thorny bushes. Inside, the remnants of chocolate furniture, mostly devoured by rats, surrounded a giant oven. Pieces of burnt human bones stick out from the ashes. So that's like a hook for sure. And then let's read another one up here. There's one up here I saw that I wanted. Ghost Lights. Pale blue lights pivot between twisted tree branches amidst the dark and moist hanging moss. As you look closer, you realize the moss grows over skeletons of hanged humanoids. Their flesh rotted away long ago. As you examine them, pale lights flicker in the skull's eye sockets. Could these things come to life? I don't know. But it's a cool prompt. I mean, it gets your imagination stirred up. And so for crafty DMs, you can take this, say, okay, I need a couple skeleton stat blocks. I'm going to give them this special trait because they have the glowing eyes. And this is what they're protecting. This is the item that's hidden. You know, before you know it, you got a whole encounter. And it was just inspired by this card, right? So I think it's a fun way if you want some randomness or if you just want some inspiration. I like this series. I've the one I looked at before, I still remember because it was fun, and they've got a lot of different things on here to look at. You can even watch this little video. You can check out the other collection of cards that they've done previously. So I think it's a fun one, and it seems like it fits for the holidays as well. So check it out under Wayfarer's Deck, The Dark Forest, in the links below, and give it a click. Well, that's the last DriveThruRPG title for this week. We're going to move on to the DM's Guild, but before we do, please follow me on Twitter at Splinterverse. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave us a comment, let us know in the comments what any of these titles that you're interested in, and anything you want us to know. We respond to all of those comments. Also, share the videos so that we can get the word out with more people. And click those links to support all these creators. If you purchase anything at those links, we get a small percentage from the affiliate program, and we appreciate that. But we definitely want to support all these awesome creators. Many of them don't get a lot of feedback, so do leave reviews for them if you do purchase something. And if you're feeling especially nice and generous today, consider purchasing one of our books. We've got Fizban's Vault of Draconic Secrets, which is over 50 pages of player stuff that's dragon themed, including subclass for each class, a new fun familiar called the Dragon League, magic items, spells, you name it, it's all in there. And then we've got the Feywild Companion, over 150 pages of Feywild stuff, everything from full adventures to subclasses to items to encounters. It's all in there, and it's all Feywild, including 79 VTT tokens. And all of these books from Splinterverse Media are linked in the video description, including Potions Unlocked and Van Richten's Libram of Lineages as well. So check those out, help support the channel, and get some fun content, and it helps us make more books, which we're planning to do here in 2022. So stay tuned for more. Now let's go on to the DM's Guild. Our first DM's Guild title this week is Angela's Mortal Manual from Jack Weigel, $10 for 84 pages. And it says it's an NPC source book for DMs everywhere, featuring 26 original characters to fit into any world and one new race option for players. It says read the tales of Angela the Fate Weaver as she reveals the past, present, and hints at the future of each of these characters, providing you with unique methods of utilizing them in any given campaign. Each character comes with their own history, traits, goals, unique statistics, and quest prompts to help you include them in your setting. And then it lists some of the characters that you might meet, like Dane the Rider, a Knight of Hell atop his nightmare steed, Scarmiglione. Dane travels the multiverse in search of his next infernal target, all the while yearning to escape from the clutches of his master, Asmodeus. And then you've got Dandelion, a cheery traveling sorceress in search of a cure for her mountain deity. Dandelion also provides a new race option for players, the Mouseling. And then you've got a bunch of other ones listed here, and you get to see some of the interiors, which look very nice. I like the layout. And it's down here, it says the prequel to Angela's Mortal Manual, Angela's Deific Dictionary, is a world-building sourcebook filled with 18 original OGC deities. So Angela is kind of continuing on here and having a sequel, so that's cool. Let's take a look inside. You get to see 10 of the 84 pages. Nice layout and artwork here. So it lists all the characters, gives you a little bit of a content warning there, and then about the book. And then it kind of gives you the template of what you're going to get for each character. And then you've got Arachne and Archcreus, I guess is how you pronounce that. And then it's nice they've got how to roleplay with the personality trait, ideal bond, flaw, etc. And then, of course, you get to the stat blocks. And then you've got Arachne as a legendary foe. So ways to add some legendary abilities to the character to make it more powerful. So let's just read a little bit about Arachne and Archcreus. Hard to say that one. Chaotic neutral tiefling she/her, chaotic evil tiefling he/him, a fugitive on the run, and a criminal emperor set upon his throne. The lives of Arachne and Archcreus have gone from inseparably close to as far apart as can be. Arachne runs from her past in the underworld of her home, Neradar, while Archcreus seeks to drag her back into the city that he now rules. Both twins are of ruby red skin with tall and slender frames. Bright golden eyes with yellowish irises give them a piercing stare. The twins each share a long whipping tail that forks into two distinct tips. So you've got a nice little bit of artwork here to showcase the two characters. And that's just the intro. Then you've got a history here. It says, born into a family of bakers, the twins Arachne and Archcreus were raised by a kind, loving family. At age 12, Arachne showed pyromantic capabilities owing to the family's distant draconic heritage. Her parents hoped that she would be accepted for tutelage at a prestigious magical college. During this time, Archreus fell in with the wrong crowd, growing more distant from his family. And then that's just the beginning of the history, and then it continues, and then you've got role-playing Arachne, and then role-playing Archreus. So with role-playing Arachne, it says, filled with anguish and regret, Arachne is a melancholy woman stuck in the past. She struggles to make new connections for fear of having to run further away to escape the reach of her power-mad brother. Personality trait, I am incredibly pessimistic. Ideal, we must always look inward so as not to become monsters. And then there's some quest prompts here and how to integrate them into your campaign. And then you've got, of course, the stat blocks, and they're both CR9. And then information on legendary versions, and then Neradar, which is, I guess, where they're from, right? So you've got some information on some specific locations, points of interest in Neradar. So very thorough exploration of these NPCs. You're not getting just a blurb and a stat block, or just the role-playing traits and then a stat block, right? You're getting a lot of detail, which I like, with nice art, very nice layout. So seems like it's a really well done title, and it's on sale right now for $10. So looks like you've got a couple days to get it for $10 before it becomes $14.99. So check it out under Angela's Mortal Manual in the links below and give it a click. Next, we have Barovian Folk Tales, 10 dark folk tales set in the cursed and gloomy lands of Barovia. It's by Madison Nickel. It's $4.99 for 30 pages. It says, could the stories be true? Delve deep into the untamed wilds of 𝙬𝙬 Wood in search of answers, riches, and madness. Hunt the legendary beasts that stalk the land, or hear the tales told around the tavern's hearth. But for those who wish to discover the truth, only an expedition underneath those accursed boughs can reveal the truth. Cryptids. Barovian Folk Tales contains 5 new legendary monsters, each with an accompanying lair, lore, and story to go with them. How you use these monsters is entirely up to you, but the stories of each creature will help you create your own unique encounters with them. Terrify your characters and make each foray beyond the safety of civilization feel dangerous. You never know what eyes are peering through the mist. Haunts. This module also contains 5 unique short encounters ranging from role-playing to combat. Each features a heavy dose of discovery and lets the DM create incredible stories however they want to tell them. Haunts are left vague enough to allow the DM to build from them, but contain enough information to run with minimal prep. So very cool. Let's take a look inside. So this is Barovia is part of Ravenloft, right? So this would be Ravenloft naturally, but you could adapt this maybe to another spooky location if you wanted. So you've got some fun spooky silhouette art here, and some intro by Van Richten, and then things about cryptids, haunts, running folk tales, and then this whole section is the cryptids, so this would be the monsters, and then you've got information on the lair that accompany the monster and tactics. So we'll look at one of these in a minute. So you get to see all 30 pages in this preview, which is very generous. So you can really check out the whole book and see if, the encounters or the monsters in here work for you. There's one called Lost Toy Workshop. So that sounds fun. It says, lost and abandoned in 𝙬𝙬 Woods is a glade of toys. Some were dropped, others brought here on purpose. But all lost toys in Barovia invariably find their way here. Like moths to a flame, these toys are dragged or carried by beasts and people into the woods and abandoned. Some say that abused toys wander here on their own, desperately trying to escape from their torment. Others than the glade houses, the abandoned workshop of Fritz von Weerg, and that the toys are the remnants of the great inventor. So, interesting. Cool little toys. So that's just one of the haunts. And then let's go read about one of these other characters here. We'll go up to the top and read about the Bloody Elk. So there's a story at the beginning, like a flavor text version, and it says, Tales of the Bloody Elk go back centuries, originating around the time of Strahd's death. To many Barovians, Bloody Elk is a story to tell children not to wander out at night. To those who have spent a night deep in the heart of the 𝙬𝙬 Woods, or traveled along the roads without a lamp, Bloody Elk is very real. Few survive an encounter with Bloody Elk, and those unlucky enough to escape alive wish they hadn't. So, sounds very creepy and dangerous. And then you've got some sections detailing the creature, as well as the lair and the regional effects, and the stat block, of course, and tactics. So super helpful if you're looking for some more creatures, if you're looking for some more encounters for Ravenloft, and some of these are for Barovia. They're all for Barovia, but they could be moved elsewhere. So definitely consider that. And I could see the Bloody Elk being used outside of Ravenloft. Maybe you need a creepy creature somewhere. So check it out under Barovian Folk Tales in the links below and give it a click. Next we have the Blood Rager. Surge into battle with this D10 class, fusing martial prowess with innate spellcasting. And the subtitle is a half-caster class with 37 new spells by Daniel K. It's 33 pages. A devastating force to be reckoned with. A Blood Rager is a warrior whose ancestry is tied to a magical creature or mystical force, a lineage that bestows gifts of innate magic and physical power specific to each of 23 bloodlines. The Blood Rager is a half-caster with cantrips and a D10 class, marrying the world of barbarian and sorcerer for an exciting experience. With 37 new spells for the class and individual bloodlines, 3 unique feats, a background, and rules for multiclassing, the Blood Rager is a fully developed, well-rounded additional class option that is sure to help player characters find their paths with angelic, alien, hag-like, or other aesthetics. So lots of stuff in this book. You've got all these bloodlines, everything from Aberration Bloodline, Crystalline Bloodline, Phoenix Bloodline, and the Wild Hunt Bloodline. And then you've got your spells, your background, which is Escaped Experiment, so that sounds fun. And then you've got multi-classing, feats, and then there's a giant dragonfly stat block, it looks like. And then here is sort of the class table showing you what you get as far as spells as you go and features. And then this is just a list of some of the spells. So you've got everything from Fire Bolt, Ray of Frost, Burning Hands, Blood Focus, Blood Shroud, Defenestrating Sphere, Rock Burst, Steam Cloud, Acidic Breeze, all kinds of stuff. So they're mixing here spells from other books, official Wizards books and this book. So that's kind of cool. And it says the bolded ones basically are the ones from this book. So fun stuff, and it's nice that they're getting to use spells from the other books as well, so that you have a good mixture. So yeah, 33 pages for a brand new class. That's a lot of pages, and it sounds like a fun one. So check it out under Blood Rager in the links below and give it a click. Next we got the Book of Spirits, a one-shot adventure by Caleb John Kleinbell. And it's a suggested price of $5 on Pay What You Want, 12 pages. And it says, in this adventure, for characters of levels 1 to 5, the party is approached by a disheveled elf seeking help in stopping his friend Divor from transforming the world into an undead nightmare in an effort to resurrect his wife. However, before the party can set out, the area is transformed into a haunted graveyard by the magic of the book. The party must navigate this new world to find the Book of Spirits and destroy it, hopefully undoing all of the damage that Divor has done to the world. Can the party find Divor and bring the world back to normal? Or will the world be turned into a ghostly nightmare forever? And can the Book of Spirits truly bring the dead back to life? Grab your nerdy best friends and find out in the Book of Spirits. So, sounds like a fun time. Let's take a look inside. You get to see 5 of the 12 pages. So you get to see this book on the cover that's kind of glowing. Got the intro, setup, setting the scene, and then a lot of flavor text here that you can read. It's nice. And goes to through the swamp here. So let's just read a little bit of the flavor text. I'm not going to read the whole thing because this one's particularly long, but it says, the people of this area and the surrounding town celebrate the night that the spiritual plane is most attuned to ours. They call this night the celebration of the dead, and this celebration just so happens to be tonight. In the streets around the outside of their homes, many just to the side of their front doors are lighting candles on tables for their fallen loved ones or bringing their loved ones cherished items from their lives. They share stories of their friends and family members, some having shared these stories numerous times and others more choked up, sharing about more recent losses. Some are partying, enjoying the chance to take a holiday, while others are more somber and thoughtful. reflecting on the meaning of the holiday and the remembrances they keep. Amid the celebration, you find yourselves at a table inside the local tavern. Here, the outsiders in the town, as well as those with no one to share the holiday, place bets on card games, get drunk, eat to their heart's content, and occasionally get into a brawl or two. So that's kind of the intro to where your characters are and what they're up to. So sounds fun, reasonable, and like a good intro to this adventure described in the catalog page here, that they're going to have to help this disheveled elf Divor from transforming the world into an undead nightmare. Nobody wants that. So, well, maybe there's some people that want that, but most people don't want that. So check it out under Book of Spirits in the links below and give it a click. Next, we've got City of Eyes by Oliver Darkshire, and it's version 3.0. It's $19.99 for 109 pages. And it says, City of Eyes is a Ravenloft adventure in 13 parts, taking place in the thoroughly horrible city of Elysium, a ghastly urban sprawl where it never stops raining, there are too many cats, and no one knows where the food comes from. And all kinds of fun stuff here. It says it's an adventure for characters of 15th to 20th level with challenges designed to torment those who feel they have nothing left to fear. Collect peculiar keys, gather strange etchings, and solve the mystery of Elysium before the clock ticks down to midnight and adventure ends. Face off against the Spider, a treacherous CR30 dark lord spinning webs into shadows. Battle against unspeakable denizens, medically negligent mind flayers, and cruel celestials, or simply convince them that you aren't worth it. So it's nice that you have combat options or role-playing that you can do there instead of forcing combat. It says it uses updated stress and fear rules from Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft. New dark gifts specific to the City of Eyes. And then there's twisted artifacts, peculiar magics, and regrettable creatures suited to the dark side streets of Elysium. And it goes into some more details here, and there's no preview, so we can't show the preview, but lots of art. And all the books from Oliver are bestsellers. Oliver is very creative and talented, and has a unique voice. I've looked at some of the books that Oliver has produced, and they're all very good from what I've seen. So this looks like another winner, and I like all the maps and the artwork. I think it's very, very well themed together. Everything seems to go nicely in this notion of this town that's a little bit dark and dangerous. All of these creatures and pictures I'm seeing seem to all fit that mood, and I like that it's 15th to 20th level. You don't often see tier 4 content, especially from Wizards, so it's nice to have some tier 4 content out here. And it looks beautiful. And I mean, for those of you who bought my Van Richten's Librum of Lineage, they're collecting old keys here in this story, and there's the Keykeeper lineage that would work well with that. So if you bought that book, this book might go well with it. Or of course, if you bought any of the Ravenloft stuff, whether it's Van Richten's Guide or Curse of Strahd, this seems like it would be a good place to go next. And maybe after doing some of that other Ravenloft stuff, your characters and your party will be at this level. So I think it's exciting and fun, and I think a lot of people will enjoy it. So check it out under City of Eyes in the links below and give it a click. Next, we've got Countess von Zarovich, which is already a best silver seller in its first week by Gija Christian Zook and Kathleen Harrington. It's $7.99 until the 20th, when it goes to $9.99. It's 62 pages. It says, rediscover the land of Barovia under the domain of the terror-inducing Countess Strahd von Zarovich, with this supplement filled with advice on running Strahd as a non-Mel villain and featuring unique original encounters and NPCs to enhance your adventures in Ravenloft. And then there's some quotes from people that have played it, which is nice. It says a beautifully laid out 62-page PDF with stunning artwork. Find a comprehensive primer on gender swapping and how to avoid falling into tired stereotypes. Meet new NPCs. Learn to gaslight like it's an art form. Discover alternative to the rules as written Tatiana Strahd backstory. Read an 8-page long, fully fledged new biography for Countess Strahd. Incorporate new encounters and micro events. Befriend or not the witch's coven that has settled in the ruins of Perez. Explore a compendium of historical villainous women, as well as recommendations of further media to explore to kind of inspire you. And then there's some maps. And you can see some of the interiors with some nice layout here. So, you know, there was She is Ancient recently released, and based on the comments I read in the discussion here, She is Ancient focuses on like the whole adventure and tweaking some things, and this is more focused on gender bending Strahd. So they might work well together. I don't know. I haven't played either of those books or, you know, looked in detail at either of the books, but they might play well together. Or, you know, you could use them separately, I'm sure. Just something to point out. So let's see if we can look inside. So yeah, you get to see pretty much the whole book. So no reason not to take a look and see if this is of interest to you. But you can see they've got the general primer, then into the multiverse, building world building here, and then encounters, all kinds of stuff. Goes into why running female Strahd, general primer, and then all about gender identity and expression, and tropes. Yeah, there's just a lot of stuff in here. And then just scrolling to the end, you've got footnotes, some stat blocks here at the end. Lots of cool stat blocks. But let's scroll back up and read a little bit about some of the intro here. So, why run female Strahd? We assume that you are reading this because you are at least a bit curious about different ways of running the classic villain Strahd von Zarovich. One could have a number of reasons for choosing to run Strahd as a female. Many DMs do it because they feel more comfortable or accustomed to role-playing and getting into the mind and voice of a female character. Other DMs might be looking for an alternative to certain elements of the original adventures to make their tables a safe space for themselves and their players. While changing Strahd's gender is not the only answer, it does provide various opportunities to avoid the sexual predator, abusive, toxic relationship aspects of the published adventure. For veteran DMs or players of this classic Ravenloft adventure, changing Strahd's gender also offers an opportunity to revisit the story and setting with a fresh look at both Strahd as a villain and Barovia as a society. Most importantly, running what the community affectionately calls Fem Strahd grants DMs and players a wonderful opportunity to incorporate additional themes and explore unique dynamics that would otherwise not exist. So I think it's always good to have discussions and to not feel locked into what's published, especially in this game. You know, you can, as a DM or a player, change things. You don't have to play everything as written or accept it as written. I'm not criticizing anything published. I'm just saying that you have a game where literally the world is yours. You can make it what you want. And so I'm always happy to see people giving you alternatives, so that if maybe there's a certain adventure that doesn't sit well with you, or there's things that are disturbing or bother you, that you have other options out there to still enjoy the material that is published. So I like that. Check it out under Countess von Zarovich in the links below and give it a click. Next we have Extracting Silver, a one-shot featuring a plasma dragon from Matt Cavallero and Rob Moore, $2.99 for 29 pages. And it says, Extracting Silver is a level 8 adventure featuring a plasma dragon, a sluggish dragon of the Underdark worshipped by kobolds of the Smoking Mountains. The adventure takes place in Faerunian kingdoms of Unther and 𝙤𝙤𝙤𝙦, but can be adapted to other settings with Dragonborn kingdoms. And it includes stat blocks for all the monsters, as well as 7 original maps. So, you know, Fizban's Treasury of Dragons just came out. People are looking for opportunities to have dragon adventures. This might be one, so keep that in mind. And 6 pages out of the 29 are visible here in the preview. So you can see that it's got the adventure backstory, adventure hooks, flavor text, and some encounter tables, which are always nice. You can use those outside of the adventure even for other times you need an encounter. So it says, in this adventure, a group of exiled 𝙤𝙤𝙤𝙤 resistance fighters sneak across the Smoking Mountains to free a defector against the Vanquisher, the general monarch of 𝙤𝙤𝙤𝙤. Extracting Silver is an adventure optimized for 8th level characters. And it says the repressive nature of the Timotherian military dictatorship has forced many of the country's more liberally minded Dragonborn residents to flee its confines, while most of these refugees have fled to the corners of Faerun in order to escape the grasp of the Vanquisher. A small cell of these outcasts have hidden out in the obscure shanty town of Havel, nestled in the meth wood of Unther. So, lots of background, lots of history and lore with these groups. Sounds fun. Let's look at one of the adventure hooks here. It says, going for gold, a more treasure-oriented party can be offered a 2,000 gold piece reward for the safe extraction of Majira Glint Ward from Time Anther. This offer can be made by Hethris or another contact sympathetic to the resistance cause. And that's just one of the hooks. There's several here. And I like the flavor text that they have here. It looks like it's a reasonable amount. Sometimes you get too much or too little, and it's looking like they've got a decent amount here for the adventure. So looks like it could be a fun time, a way to try out the things you've learned from Fizban's Treasury of Dragons, or just to try something new if you don't have that book. So check it out under Extracting Silver in the links below. Give it a click. Next, we've got Hit Point Trackers Double Dial, which is from Tabletop Unglued. It's free. It's 31 pages, and it's really about these things, which are these little dials that you can use to showcase your hit points, or you might be able to adapt them to represent other numbers. You could even probably use them in Magic the Gathering to do your life points of you and your opponent maybe. It says twist to keep track of your character's current hit points, and the dials range from 0 to 199. Dials turn easily when gripped on two sides. There's no metal or plastic parts, and it shows how you basically make them and glue them together. So really fun. I think it could be a fun little project. There's a bunch of different variations of the art. Let's look inside. I think this is going to show you a lot more. So you get to see 20 of the pages. So it tells you all the instructions here, then things you got to cut out like the dials, and then how to fold and glue them together. And so yeah, lots of different characters to use for these. It's really nice that they're giving this away. I think that it's really kind, and I could see people having fun with these. And maybe there's somebody who doesn't have, doesn't enjoy writing their points or whatever, and they'd rather have a dial like this to keep track of it. Or maybe you've got somebody new that you think this will help them get into the game, and less dealing with the character sheet and more spinning these wheels. Or maybe you have a young player who would, maybe this will keep them busy as they're trying to get involved in the game. Even just other people, maybe people visiting, playing, could be handed these to help keep track of something. You could say, hey, you keep track of the life points for this monster for me, and then tell them, okay, you got to subtract 2, or teach them math with this, and just kind of have fun. So lots of options, and it's free, so why not grab it? So look for it under Hit Point Trackers in the links below and give it a click. Next we have I-1 Dwellers of the Forbidden City, and it's basically a 5th edition conversion guide by Ernie Noah. It's $2.95 for 17 pages. So with DM's Guild, you're allowed to publish conversions of older modules from previous editions. You just can't copy paste everything. You're just basically providing the updated pieces, and then you have to kind of mash them together to get the result. But that's, especially in the digital age, that's not too hard to do, because you can combine things on your own or print them and put them in a binder to put them together, however you want to do it. But I always like this because it's bringing value back to these things that you may have collecting dust in your attic or in a closet somewhere, and with this you can bring value to it and really bring some new adventure to people. Maybe there's people you're playing with that have only played with 5th edition, and so you're gonna get to showcase some stories from back in the day. And I like all the maps. They look nice. You can reuse them for other things. They don't have to be just for this adventure. So for $2.95 you're getting a bunch of maps, you're getting the conversion notes, and I think this is really fun. So check it out under I1 Dwellers of the Forbidden City in the links below. Give it a click. Oh, well, before you give it a click, let's take a look inside. Got ahead of myself there. So you've got, here's all the different locations on the maps. And down here, there's a wandering monster table, which is a lot of fun. And there's all kinds of creatures that you can encounter there. So yeah, lots of stuff. Let's scroll back up and read just a little bit. So the towering tree, characters with enough rope may attempt to lasso, then make a wild leap into the tree. If successful, they may then climb down the tree. Provided characters have enough rope, they may lasso a branch with a successful DC 5 athletics check. Once a tree limb has been lassoed, consult the following table to see what happens. Oh, okay, so you've got all these different branch tests, including the branch is safe to swing on or not. So that's fun. I like it. So yeah, all those DC checks have to be updated, right, from older editions. So yeah, check it out under I1 Dwellers of the Forbidden City. Give it a click. Next, we've got Kraken Game, and it's a one-shot adventure from Steve Jasper Orr, DJ Brewer, Bill Prucino, and Wizard Sleeve Studios. It's $4.95 for 33 pages. It's when a mysterious stranger extends an invitation to play games for the opportunity to win a large sum of gold, some find it very difficult to resist. However, once those games are revealed to have deadly consequences for those who fail, the competition becomes much more than a simple game. It becomes a matter of life or death. Kraken Game puts characters in a situation where they are competing in a variety of games for the chance to win the grand prize of several thousand gold. While the games may be simple and familiar, those who lose are eliminated permanently. And of course, this is all in reference to Netflix's Squid Game. It's a parody on that, I guess, or an homage to that. I've seen that show. I really enjoyed it. And I recommend it if you don't mind violence. It is quite violent, but I think it's really well made and great story. And it's interesting because I was actually thinking about doing a YouTube video on how you could be inspired by it for D&D. There were a couple of ideas I had watching it, and I'm glad I didn't do that video because now there's a book that's doing that exact thing, and so I'm sure mine would not have been as good because I would have only given probably a couple ideas in that video based on just a few that I had. So maybe it would have been good. Who knows? Anyway, somebody has taken it all the way to the finish line with a book, so I'm excited. I think it's fun. I like that there's a play on the squid with Kraken. And it says it's got mechanics to scale the adventure and encounters for characters of all levels. And then you've got, of course, the famous games, including Red Light, Green Light. And then 6 original maps and NPC participants, and as well as a new item called Cloak of the Kraken. So some very fun looks at the player characters here, the other characters you might see, and then this of course is one of the games, a map that you need for that game, and then here's the infamous Kraken Game, and I like that it's not identical to Squid Game. They tweaked it a little bit, and let's look inside. So we'll read a little bit of this in a minute, but you get to see 27 of the 33 pages, so quite a lot of stuff. You can see some of the maps here, very nice. Got the dormitory, participant numbers. Here's the Cloak of the Kraken item, and the maps. So let's read some of the earlier stuff so we're not spoiling maybe one of the characters here. So participant number 39, Krarg. Half-orc barbarian, the leader of a gang of mercenaries, Krarg joined the game with several of his cronies with the belief that together they could outmuscle or bully the competition into submission. He is relentless, merciless, and does whatever it takes to win, even if that means killing someone unfairly or sacrificing a member of his gang. Krarg towers over most of the other participants and knows how to use that to his advantage. A large snake tattoo winds down one side of his neck. Cool. So that's a good, detailed competitor. And here, let's read the flavor text for the solo invite. An elf stands before you, smiling broadly. He's tall, handsome, and wears a finely tailored black tunic. His charcoal-colored hair is neatly trimmed and parted without so much as a single hair out of place. His smile appears friendly, and his eyes twinkle as if he has known you all your life. He calls you by your name. Hello, he says in a friendly and warm tone. He holds up a thin card made of wood, one side red and one side green. Would you like to play a game? So, very reminiscent of the TV show. You certainly don't have to have watched the show to play this, but I think you'll enjoy it if you have. And I'm grateful this exists because now I don't have to make a video on it. So thank you, creators, and check it out under Kraken Game in the links below. Give it a click. Next we've got Let's Go Into the Garden by Philippa Mort, and it's $3.99 for 25 pages. So it's an LGBTQ plus cottagecore themed adventure for 3 to 5 players at 2nd level. It says, help Laurel, the ranger, plan the perfect picnic proposal for her girlfriend Joy. Collect goodies for the picnic and meet all of the couple's friends who live in Sedwig Wood along the way. So cottagecore is just this notion of really enjoying rural life without technology. You know, getting into gardening, being in this kind of rural setting, and just being at peace and not having all these technological distractions. So this adventure seems to be geared toward that, which can be fun. I think it's sometimes nice to have an adventure that's not all about fighting, right? It says it focuses on exploration, role-play, and creativity more than combat. It can easily be adjusted for different levels or slotted into a campaign, and it's also great for younger players. And it talks about what cottagecore is, and then included in the adventure, you've got some key NPCs and then stat blocks. And look at how fun the characters look. They're very whimsical. And let's look at the 13-page preview here. And so here's the info on the whole thing, as far as, you know, the TOC, the table of contents, and then more on cottagecore. And then you've got the little map of the locations, also very whimsical with the art, notes for the DM, key NPCs, and then chapter 1, meeting some of the characters and doing the various things you need to do. So yeah, you're getting to see a good chunk of this, so I think it's great to check it out. So we'll read one of the hooks and then a little bit about one of the characters. So hooks, help out a friend. The adventurers receive a handwritten letter from their old friend Laurel Maddich, who asks for their help in surprising her girlfriend, Joy Wildheart. She asks them to visit her in her cottage at the edge of Sedwig Wood. And then Joy Wildheart. Joy is a tiefling with wavy blonde hair, rosy cheeks, and freckles. A flower crown rests behind deer antlers, which grow from her forehead, revealing her tiefling lineage or heritage. She wears a billowy white dress and carries a woven basket full of flowers she has picked from the woods. Joy has a secret. She wants to propose to Laurel. She wants to take Laurel on a walk through the forest, recreating an earlier date, and propose in the same woodland gate where Laurel is planning to host a proposal picnic. And then it's got Joy's interests, her personality traits, ideals, and it says Joy can be often found humming or tapping her foot to a tune, and she loves to dance. And as a tiefling, Joy picked a name to represent what she wants to embody in the world, so that's nice. And then her interests include things like her favorite color is blue. She loves to visit Bulrush the Frog Wizard to share jam recipes. So all very wholesome, fun, peaceful stuff, right? It could be great to just drop this in, you know, if your party's been having a rough time or a lot of challenging battles. This could be just a fun, like, chill adventure. Or maybe you're playing with some people that want to see how D&D can be non-combative, and you don't want to do the full Wild Beyond the Witchlight long adventure. You could do this little thing. So check it out under Let's Go in the Garden in the links below. Give it a click. Next we have Mystery of the Missing Head. It's part 3 of 4 from Labor of the Dragon God. We've talked about the past episodes on the channel before. So it says, a strange dream has led you to the mountain range of Jajaka's Rest, a colony of kobolds still serving a dragon after death, and their head librarian has become the victim of a murder. That was all well and good, usual hero stuff, right? But then you started experiencing the same 3 days over and over again, almost as if the mountain itself won't let you leave until the mystery is solved. Something is here, something important, and whatever it is, it won't rest until you find out where and what it is, or until it ends up in the hands of those who will lead to the destruction of everything. So you've got 3 brand new magic items, 13 sidekick-ready NPCs, full monster manual for not just this adventure, but all 4 adventures in the series, a unique race, 2 unique feats, and all kinds of artwork. Let's look inside. So you get to see 7 of the 82 pages. So there's some maps in here that look nice. You've got some points of interest described. And let's scroll back up and read some of this flavor text for you. So it says, the Ďaga brothers, judging by the cart grooves in the road and the virgin countryside passing you by, you almost might not believe that this red mountain of kobolds is real. Back home, the rumors had churned endlessly about a strange land populated entirely by kobolds, and kobold scholars even. But the scenery on the way there was only the same unending backdrop of forests and grassland with mountains off in the distance that repeats itself endlessly up and down the Sword Coast. Some of you may be used to travel, while some of you might be crawling out of your skins with boredom. But you are all united in one purpose, to finish this journey and finally view the kobold colony of Ďaga's Rest and learn a little something about how a kobold would maintain a great library. So yeah, that would be fun, having this kobold that's in charge of a bunch of books, scurrying around and dealing with all the books, probably shelves taller than itself. So yeah, I think it's a fun one, and you should check it out under Mystery of the Missing Head, and the links below. Give it a click. Next, we have Nutty Tavern from Tavern Stories. It's $2 for 9 pages. It says, you are holding your guide to a fully fleshed out shop ready to be placed in any campaign. This includes NPCs that inhabit the place, a map, a menu for players to choose goodies to feast on, and a suggestion for an encounter. So, fun stuff. And here you can see inside, this is the Nutty Tavern with a full map of, where the customers would be, and then all of the back areas like the storage and maybe where people even live. And it's got inhabitants. You've got Charlie the owner with some really fun artwork for Charlie, and then colleagues like Kruno and Credrell with plot hooks for each character they're showing, and then Scylla with a plot hook, and then the shop. This goes into details, menus of what's sold there, and then an encounter including a swarm of artillery squirrels. So getting to see almost the entirety here because it's 8 of the 9 pages, so very generous preview. But let's read about Charlie the owner. Charlie cracked a peanut shell, letting the peanut whiz through the air before catching it in his mouth as he scanned his inn. Normally people played games with the peanuts or just scarfed them down, but tonight was different. Tonight everyone sat back in their seats and drank their beer with miserable looks on their faces. He nodded at Scylla. Scylla stood and scowled. What is going on? Her voice echoed through the room, followed by the sharp crack of a walnut in her hands. A few patrons looked up, but none would answer. Look, she gestured at Charlie. We wish to help, but we do need to know what the matter is. A human man, 200 pounds of pure muscle, stood. I am allergic to nuts, and I just want to sit here in peace drinking my ale. Charlie walked up to him. The place is called Nutcracker, pal. The man smirked. Not tonight, it isn't. So you're getting some flavor. There's a very story about Charlie as you're reading through, and there's a plot hook. It says woodworm infestation has taken over the bar. Help. So lots of fun, lots of beautiful artwork. You can drop this anywhere because it's a tavern that could be in any city that you have in your campaign. So check it out under Nutty Tavern in the links below and give it a click. Next we have Pocket Bestiary Volume 1 by Wilson Belshaw, $1.99, and then the artist is Zuza Gruzluska. And it says it's the first volume of the Pocket Bestiary, which includes new monsters, magic items, and story ideas. So the monsters include something called the Babbleclaw, a Trickster, and a Wer-Chisagat, and then magic items like the Babbo Pincher and the Trickster's Paw. And you can see they've got some nice layout here, very Wizards-like, with some artwork. So let's look inside. You get to see 3 of the 20 pages. You get to see the Champopo, which can be, they've got 3 different stat blocks, which is very nice. You've got the familiar one, so that's, challenge level 0 to be a familiar. And then you've got the sidekick, which is a challenge level 1/4. And then you've got challenge level 1 to be basically an enemy, I guess. And you've got story ideas, which is nice. So let's read a little bit. It says, folks have likened more than one creature to a bottomless pit, but the description proves particularly pertinent in the case of Champopo, each one possessing a gullet that's functionally a bag of holding. It's unclear how the first one came to exist, but speculation abounds. Some believe the Far Realm transformed an actual bag into weird thingy. Others speculate they're the result of a magical experiment gone weird. Regardless of which proves true, the end result is the same, with each one acting as a roving receptacle of everything. This feat makes them useful familiars, but it can also make them challenging foes. While 𝘽𝙬𝙀 themselves prove less than threatening, the same won't prove true of the creatures they regurgitate. So, because it's like a bag of holding, there could be some creatures in there that they spit out that are a challenge. So it's sort of an encounter machine. It's spitting out these monsters. So that sounds really fun. And so one of the story ideas is that 𝘽𝙬𝙀 eats an important item, then takes off. The party must track it down and force it to regurgitate its ill-gotten gains. And so in that story, there could be all these other things that come up before this thing that you're trying to get. So that could be really fun. I like this a lot. I think it's going to be good, and it's only $1.99. So check it out under Pocket Bestiary in the links below and give it a click. Next we have the Poultrygeist, and it says Gobble Gobble, a short side adventure for 4 to 5 characters of 3rd to 4th level. And it's by PJ Perello and Zach Jennings, $3.95 for 13 pages. When the weather turns cold and the leaves begin changing, turkeys can once again be heard in the woods around the old dwarven hunting lodge, and the Poultrygeist rises to claim more victims. So 4 to 5 characters of 5th level, new custom map, 3 new monsters, 1 new magic item, and a VTT friendly map. So that's cool. Let's look inside. Oh, got my pages all out of order. Here we go. We've got 3 pages that you can look at, which is really nice. And here's one of the maps, so you can see the keyed locations, Dwarven Hunting Lodge, Adventure Hook, and then of course the summary up here. So let's read the Adventure Hook. Zoom in. Traveling through the woods on their way back to town after a successful adventure, the characters hear the sound of hundreds of turkeys maniacally gobbling in the surrounding woods. A seemingly unending flock of large, hostile turkeys emerges from the trees, threatening to overwhelm the group. The turkeys will herd the characters toward the old dwarven hunting lodge, which is built into the side of a mountain, suspended over a lava lake. They are heeding the call of the Poultrygeist, who seeks vengeance for its death at the hands of the dwarves. So that's a cool setup. And this is all very Thanksgiving themed. It doesn't have to be Thanksgiving, but it's very Thanksgiving themed. So next week, if you have people coming to town for the holiday, or you just want to celebrate Thanksgiving and have fun, even if it's not Thanksgiving time, you could do this adventure and have some fun turkey stuff going on. Maybe even have a turkey meal while you're playing this, and really just enjoy this. I love the setup. This visuals of these turkeys herding the party is really fun. So I think you could have a lot of fun with this. So look for the Poultrygeist in the links below and give it a click. Next we have The Ruins of Adphyleon by Forrest Ray, $2.95 for 27 pages. It says a ruined city holds a dark secret. An easy job as hired muscle leads a group of adventurers in need of pay to a forgotten city that the neighboring orcs fear to enter. A dark and mysterious entity awaits them beneath the ruins of a moldering temple. Included in the 3-hour adventure are 2 new magical items, notes on role-playing orcs, 1 new class option, and 1 new background for orc characters, ready-made PCs for a quick start. It says, will the adventurers stop something malevolent from entering their world? And even if they do, will the experience drive them mad? So we don't have a full preview, but you can see some of the fun art that awaits you inside here. I mean, the cover is nice, but you've got this really cool, stylish art for the characters. I was struck by it when I was preparing the video. It looks like a lot of fun. The layout looks nice with some, it's broken up enough. It's not too much like a wall of text or anything, and all the artwork looks really fun and enjoyable to look at, including the cover. So and I haven't seen anything by Forrest Ray before. There may be other titles by Forrest, but I think this is a good one, and you should check it out by clicking Ruins of Adphyleon in the links below and give it a try. Next we have Unique Encounters, The Woodlands Fury. It says, Face the Woodlands Fury, a legendary CR17 encounter, includes a story hook, a battle map, and many unique treasures. It's $1.99 for 5 pages. In this title, you'll find everything you need for a memorable boss fight against the Woodlands Fury, And basically, it's a legendary plant attacking anyone entering its domain with unique legendary actions, lair actions, and regional influence. You'll also find 4 magic items and a boon to reward your players for surviving. And this map looks awesome. I think you can reuse that a lot. And here's this huge stat block for the Woodlands Fury, but that makes sense because it's got lair and regional effects. And then here's some of the items. So lots of fun. And let's look inside. So you get to see 2 of the pages out of the 5. And so we'll read a little bit about the story hook. It says, the nearby forest has been the source of a number of rumors. Some say it's haunted. Others think a coven of evil witches or hags is behind it. All that is known to the locals is that people who went to investigate never returned. The forest has been expanding unnaturally, getting closer and closer to the village, in which people seem tired and paranoid. The party may even be attacked by wild beasts. According to local hunters, the animals that have not fled the region are becoming aggressive. This is where a group of adventurers should go and investigate. If you think this might not be enough, a non-player character might come to the party asking them to find their missing family member who went into the forest and never came back. And then there's some lore which might contain spoilers, so we're not going to read that right now. But it's always nice to have a CR17. I think it's cool that it's a plant, and that there's magic items and a boon and a really fun map here. So I think there's a lot to offer for $1.99 from Zahus here. So check it out under unique encounters in the links below and give it a click. Next we've got Wild Beyond the Witchlight Chapter 2 Map Pack. It's a collection of Feywild themed maps for use with Wild Beyond the Witchlight from Lighthearted Adventures for $3.99, 16 pages. So it's 14 hand-drawn maps detailing locations found within the second chapter of Wild Beyond the Witchlight. And just like version 1 of this book, these maps start out as black and white, and then over time the creators are coloring them and uploading updates, which you can get to by going to My Library, and there's a button in the My Library that says updated titles or something like that, and you can check and see. Or you can just come to this page and it'll have, if you purchased it, a link on here that you can click to get the files and get the latest ones, and you can compare them. Usually people increment the numbers, or they'll add something so that you can tell that it's different. But yeah, there's 600 DPI, and the maps include things like the well, which is isometric, reaching the bottom, the inn at the end of the road, everything, slanty tower, big stump, all of that is here, and you can see some of it here in the black and white. And then you've got this area as well that you can look at. So I know with version or chapter 1 they've colorized everything already, so it didn't seem to take too awful long for the maps to be colored. So I think it's definitely worth considering this, because I think the artwork is really nicely done, especially in the style that Wild Beyond the Witchlight is. I think it's very whimsical as well. I really like these. I think they're nice. So check it out under Wild Beyond the Witchlight Chapter 2 Map Pack in the links below and give it a click. Oh, once again, I'm getting ahead of myself. Here we can see inside some of the images. Oh, look at that. You've got a skull in the ground. You've got a tower. Yep, all very nice. So yes, check it out under Wild Beyond the Witchlight Chapter 2 Map Pack. Next we have another Wild Beyond the Witchlight title. It's Wild Beyond the Witchlight Carnival Expanded, Maps and Expanded Content for Chapter 1 by Daniel Kahn and Patrick Rice. $4.95 for 23 pages. And there's even a link here to get 20% off. It says, "Come one, come all to the wondrous Witchlight Carnival. Fleeting as a fairy's kiss, the Witchlight Carnival comes to town but once in a moonbeam, bringing with it magic and mystery before disappearing to distant lands. Astonishing shows and incredible performances await our guests. Spare some coin, don some wigs, and experience extravaganza." And then it says, while the chapter 1 in Wild Beyond the Witchlight contains a lot of material already, there's a bounty of opportunity for creating more dynamic attractions, competitive skill challenges, and even some options for combat. So they've got expanded timed events, an expansion to the Big Top Extravaganza event, giving the party the opportunity to steal the Witchlight Vein or get into contact with Burley and engage in some tactical combat. Expanded location, optional and additional mechanics to improve 5 of the existing attractions, including Bubble Pop, Teapot, Carousel, Dragonfly Rides, etc. New locations, including new attractions like the Fortune Teller, Thunderdome, and the Tower Topple game. And then backgrounds, let your characters play as a party crasher with its own adventure hook. And expanded tables, 12 more carnival scenes, carnival prizes, and lost things. Tattoos and face paintings, spare a ticket punch to get some fun temporary charms. Handouts, a helpful handout for the Witchlight hand background. And then some custom art, of course. So lots of stuff. You can see the images here. They look very nice. Yeah, I think it's a fun title. There's always room to expand on what's there, and you can see how beautiful the artwork is. And I've got some nice layout. Lots of fun stuff. I think this is going to be great for anybody that really just wants to feel like they have enough stuff to make sure that their Wild Beyond the Witchlight campaign is a success, because people are going to want to do more than what's on the page. You know, they're going to want to wander off, they're going to want to have other stuff, or maybe you're running that adventure over and over and you need to mix it up, try some different things. This is an opportunity to do that. And maybe you just even want to have the Witchlight Carnival. You can reuse that carnival without the trip to the Feywild, or you could make a brand new carnival and use some of this stuff at that carnival. Maybe people liked it so much they want to go back, but you don't want to go back to the same carnival, so you take some of the stuff from this book and create a separate carnival. I mean, the opportunities with this are endless. So check out Witchlight Carnival Expanded in the links below and give it a click. And next we have Zombie City, a Tier 1 adventure from Dividestin for $1.95 for 21 pages. It says the port city of Silverstowe has been overrun by zombies. These zombies carry a deadly plague that transforms anyone they bite into a zombie within a few hours. It's up to our heroes to unravel the mystery of this disease, save the few remaining survivors, and escape the city. It's a simplified Hexcrawl with a mystery that can be dropped into any campaign. Explore the 5 districts of Silverstowe with the included hex map. Escape the zombie hordes with variant chase rules, rescue the few remaining survivors and uncover the mystery of the zombie plague, cut through waves of squishy zombies on the included urban battle map, or adjust the difficulty of the adventure to suit your group. And so lots of options in here. And the map looks fun. You can see nice clean layout. And we'll look inside. But just generally, I think that this adventure is kind of like those movies that you see, you know, Night of the Living Dead, or even the Walking Dead TV show, where you're dealing with these zombies kind of closing in, and how are you going to survive this wave after wave of zombies. So if you've ever wanted to kind of play that out, we know zombies exist in Dungeons and Dragons, but do you ever really feel like you're playing in a zombie movie? I don't know. I don't know if how many published adventures really make you feel that way, but this one seems like it would. So I think this could be a lot of fun. So let's zoom in a little bit and read about the horde here. It says there are zombies everywhere that will attack the party if they are careless. Zombies may attack as a random encounter when too much noise attracts them, or if the party goes into areas where they congregate. The horde is made up of monsters that can be killed, but the horde itself is a force of nature. No matter how many zombies the party destroys, there will always be more. It is endless and overwhelming. Noise level. As the party moves around, they may make noise, which can attract the attention of the zombie horde. This is measured by the noise level. Use a d6 to keep track of the noise level. Do not show the die to the players. The die starts at 1, and different things the party does will increase or decrease it as noted in other parts of this adventure. When it gets to 6, the zombie horde finds the party. Whenever the party fights zombies, the noise level is set to 1 at the beginning of the fight. So, very fun mechanic. You could even reuse that mechanic elsewhere. And it says whenever a zombie horde forms, usually because of noise, the party can choose to fight it or run away. If they choose to fight, roll 66 and place that many zombies on the battle map. The zombies use the statistics of the plague bearer zombie in the back. So fun time. I think most people have watched a zombie movie and thought, well, what would I do in that situation? Well, this is an opportunity to find out what these characters would do, right? So lots of fun. Think it'll be a good time for people, and it's only $1.95. So check it out under Zombie City, Escape the Horde, in the links below, and give it a click. Well, that's the last title for the week. Thank you for watching. Please follow me on Twitter at Splinterverse. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave us a comment, let us know what titles you plan to pick up or that caught your interest, and we'll reply to all comments. Please click the links in the video description and purchase these titles from these awesome creators. And if you purchase anything after clicking those links, it does help the channel as well. So if you're planning to make a purchase, that's much appreciated. And if you're feeling especially generous today, we have some books that we produced as well, all listed in the video description. Everything from lineages in our Van Richten's Librum of Lineages book, potions in our Potions Unlocked book, all kinds of Feywild stuff in the Feywild Companion, and dragon stuff in our recently released Fizban's Vault of Draconic Secrets, which has a subclass for every class that is dragon themed, as well as a bunch of other good stuff. So check those out, tell your friends, keep watching, support all the creators you've seen today, follow them on Twitter, support them, leave them comments, leave them reviews on their titles, and let's just keep this community growing. And until next time, happy adventuring.